Well, good evening. This is a rather small circle. I welcome you, Mr. George Sutton. We knew this was going to be a small webinar, but we had some people who had decided to come in. But so far, it's you and Mr. Jörg Hoffmann. So, since we're such a small round, Mr. Sutton, I suggest we progress now, and please let us walk you briefly through the presentation, and then, well, let's discuss what is on your mind, and we can welcome at least another participant. Hello, Mr. Mario Bayer. Good evening. So, two technical things. First of all, we are recording the session, so you may speak and you may show your face if you decide to do so, but then you will be on video because we have been asked by many clients to produce something that they can watch later on. And if you wish to have the presentation or the video, we will be happy to send it to you. Just let us know. Now, the two people speaking tonight, it's myself, Wolfgang Schirp. I'm a lawyer in Berlin. I've been a lawyer for more than 30 years, specializing in banking and financial markets law. And there is Mr. Sebastian Kowalczyk, a Polish lawyer who is supporting the whole case as a research assistant, and who will be happy to also answer your questions if you have any. So if I would now share my screen with you, we have provided a short presentation just to bring down all the facts, and then obviously we'll be happy to discuss and whatever questions and discussion issues you may have. So what are we talking about tonight? Juicyfields' current state of affairs. We will speak about which counterparties can be pursued, what have we done so far, and what are the next steps. As you can see here, it's myself and Mr. Kowalczyk who will be walking you through the presentation. Who am I? Just 3 sentences. Together with my partner Susanne Schmidt-Morsbach, we are operating a small boutique law firm in Berlin, specializing in banking and capital markets law. So we are neither cannabis experts nor penal code experts, but it's the banking side that interests us, and it's the banking side that we feel that we can do something for you. I don't need to elaborate on this. It's some more information on who we are, but I don't think you need this to understand what we talk about tonight. Well, why are we calling for action? There has been, since Juicyfields imploded in 2022, there have been extensive investigations in several countries and also intensively here in Germany, because one of the major companies contributing and were collecting clients for Juicyfields and collecting monies was based here. There is a special unit of the Berlin police, SOKO, which is the abbreviation for Sonderkommission, SOKO Gras. Gras is a mundane German for reefer, for hash, for cannabis. So SOKO Gras within Berlin police, they are investigating this. And obviously also the Berlin district attorney, a lady attorney, Mrs. Kinder. Several perpetrators are in custody, some are on the run, and the public action will be filed either end of this year or beginnings of next year. The female attorney has been in Cyprus for additional investigation this summer. The results are there, but they have to be translated from Greek into German. And when that is done, Mrs. Kinder will be ready to file the public what's it called, public accusation. So bringing the criminal trial on track. Only minimal portions of the total damages could be secured. At least we can now see clearer what can be done and what can't be done. The monetary transactions all went through a payment service company called ISX, based in Cyprus. It's a payment service provider regulated under EU legislation. So what is a payment service provider? It's like a bank, but it doesn't have a full banking license. For example, you can't take a hypothecary credit there to build your family home, because that's a service they're not providing. They're just a payment service provider. But in this area, they are operating under EU regulation, and they are like a bank. So it's a rather huge company, which is still very active in the market, and it's an opponent you can take action against. Yeah, Sebastian, would you take it from here? Is that okay for you?
Yes, that would be okay for me. And thank you, Wolfgang. And because we said that ISX is under European regulations, they also have to are bounded by the Money Laundering Act. Because of that, they need to fill certain, they have some obligations. I think all of you in course of the years heard that Europe will be want to fight against the Money Laundering Act, money laundering against financing terrorism and so on. And one of those regulations are regulation which obligated the banks to check who they are, with whom they are making business, or who are the persons behind those who are opening the accounts. And so all of the people which want to open an account by the bank, they need to be checked, like all of the nationalities, residences, everything that can prove that they are not connected to terrorism or something others. In case of the companies, they are trying to find out who is behind the company. Also, I mean here, ultimately beneficiary. That's the person who is pulling the strings, so to say. And they need to know who this person is, who is the managing director, what is the point of the company. I mean here, what will be company doing? All that need to be explained by the bank for the bank, and the bank needs to take action in that. Need to prove that information of that if that reliable is. Even though when the documents are signed and the accounts for the company or for a person are operational, they need to be constantly watching those accounts to checking still if they are doing that what they signed for. Let's say they thought that will be doing like I don't know, they will be selling something, and the bank needs to constantly checking this out if that's true. And also in case of the Money Laundering Act, there's also the need for the bank to check for the risk. For the risk, they need to be there a person who will be checking if all of the money laundering regulations are in place, so to say. And our argument is that the accounts which were made and used money laundering were created against that act. And you can also ask yourself a question, how we would prove that. And I understand this. But in German law, there is a possibility that the bank, in that case, our payment provider, has to prove that he had every bit of information and he did everything what he needed to check that company, that person. And of course, there is no possibility in our mind that the bank could to do everything what the regulator wanted. And I think, we all think, that's the very good strike point for us, because now the bank has to provide us with proofs that they did everything what was required for. And for that part, I would give my voice to Wolfgang.
Right, thank you, Sebastian. Now on this slide, we try to familiarize you with some special issue, because what Sebastian just said, what is KYC, when the Juicy Grow companies were opening accounts on Cyprus. Even in the very opening of the accounts, there was fraud in place, and that we can prove, because there were two accounts, two important accounts. You see the IBAN numbers here, so beginning with CY, and then these figures. The first one, the upper one, the ending with a 3551,000, that was the Cyprus account for Juicy Grow GmbH based in Berlin. And the managing director of this company, who is also a subject of the criminal accusations here, he has expressly denied that he ever opened the account. So that is what Sebastian just said. The burden of proof is on ISX. And even at the very beginning of this relationship, the managing director says he never opened the account. At least that's what he says. So the attorney has done investigation in Cyprus this summer. And so we will soon know what documents she came across. But that's what the managing director says. And the same holds true for the second account, with the number CY55 and so on, ending with 3021,000. That was the Cyprus account for Juicy Holdings BV, so the Netherlands company that the Juicyfields corporates used to collect money. And the managing director of that company also says he never opened the account in Cyprus. So obviously, it remains to be seen who tells the truth. But bearing in mind that the bank has the burden of proof, we have an ideal starting point for our legal argument, because we have on record, on criminal record, we have people saying that they never opened the accounts. How do we proceed? First thing, obviously, to submit our claims in writing and substantiate them, which means substantiate them concerning the facts. When did the client pay what amount of money? When did he buy plants? We do that in bilingual in claim letters in German and English. We precisely calculate the damages of the client and deliver it by courier in Cyprus to have a proof that it reached ISX. And we did receive reactions, but it's like ISX doesn't know what to do, and they are more or less trying to buy time. They do acknowledge receipt, explicitly complaint received. but they do interpret our letters. They pretend to interpret our letters as demands for a refund, as they call it a SEPA recall. SEPA is the abbreviation for Single European Payment Area, and the SEPA recall is an instrument to pull back monies that were falsely allocated. And ISX says they can't follow that SEPA recall because the target account is frozen for legal reasons. So these are the answers we're receiving so far. Obviously, it's a pretext because we are not making a SEPA recall, but we are claiming that ISX has an own liability for the money laundering they did. And to that, they haven't yet positioned themselves. So we have to put more pressure on them. And how do we do that? Obviously, we are in contact with the regulatory authorities. As we said, ISX is an EU-regulated payment provider, so they're not some rogue pirate organization somewhere out in the seas, but they have to comply with high European standards. And the National Supervisory Authority is the Central Bank of Cyprus, CBC. We have reported the suspected money laundering there and received also an answer that was evasive. They are not really trying to tackle the thing. So we have gone one step higher to the European Supervisory Authority. That is the European Banking Authority, EBA, based in Paris. We have reported the suspected money laundering there. It's their job to take care of such things. We have provided both authorities with evidence, and we have offered to hold a joint meeting. We have offered to fly, be it to Cyprus and be it to Paris, and explain our case in detail and show all our written materials. And we think that CBC may be evading us further, but EBA can't do that. They are a European authority, and they can't just refuse to see us, they refuse to take up the case. So we have signals that before the end of this year, we will have a meeting with them and then see how where we go from there. All further measures obviously depend on the response of the authorities, and we will keep our clients informed. Then we have, because we know we need to exercise more pressure, we have to force ISX to show their hand and to defend themselves in court. And what do? We have filed a first legal action here in Germany, which is possible because under European consumer protection laws, a consumer who has been victim of a crime can sue the perpetrator in his own place where he lives. So you can sue at your home place, which is in Germany, even if the plaintiff is in Cyprus. And it's a privilege for consumers who need to defend their rights. And we're making use of that privilege. So first action we filed was with the regional court of Magdeburg, that is a city 60 or 80 kilometers out of Berlin. And the plaintiffs in that case, they live there, so it's their place of residence, and they are making use of that EU regulation to bring legal action in their own home court. That's what I explained. The proceedings are at an early stage. Obviously, though we can sue in a German court, we need to translate the brief, the claim into Greek, because we're suing a Cyprus-based company where Greek is the national language, and then it needs to be formally serviced. So that's, we are in this early stage, but the first legal action has been brought, and ISX will have to defend them there, or they will be sentenced to full damages. So we will hear from them very soon. And if we convince the court that our arguments are supporting the legal action, then obviously ISX will be sentence to damages, and such a German verdict can be, how do you call that? It can be
enforced.
Enforced. Thank you, Sebastian. It can be enforced in Cyprus. And so that's how we are proceeding to really put pressure on them. So I'm approaching the end of our presentation. This is a cost estimate. We are calculating on the basis of the damages that our clients have suffered. If the damage is all in all under 2,000 euro, we recommend that you do nothing at all because it's just not worth the effort. If it's up to 25,000 euros, we are calculating 10% of the amount invested, up to 50,000, 9%, over 50,000, 8%. If you have an insurance for legal coverage of legal costs, which is rather frequent in Germany, please tell us and we will try to get coverage from there. So, well, yes, I think that goes without saying. Our calculation is based on the total amount that was invested, plus VAT if applicable. If we need to go to court, this is a second step that will have to be decided then. And if we can reach a settlement, we will endeavor to have the opposing party reimburse the fees. We think that a settlement is not, it can be reached. It is not out of the question. This is a very huge scandal, encompassing about 186,000 damaged investors and a damage amount of 645 million euros, but only a very small portion of these aggrieved parties have done anything legal. So if we bring ISX to a point where they need to settle, it is something that can be done and that we would also like to do. But it's a question that all our clients can decide on then. So I believe we flipped some of the slides, but I would love to come back to you now and invite you to speak to us and bring your points for discussion. You can either write in the F&A section, or you can raise your hand with a symbol here and then speak and also show your face if you choose to do so. May we invite your questions? So we have either been satisfied everything, or we have frustrated you totally. There is one. Yes, let me, Mr. Jörg Hoffmann. Yes, please come in and also please activate your microphone so that we can hear you. You're free to speak, Mr. Hoffmann.
Yeah, good afternoon. The chat is deactivated. I cannot write here.
Oh, sorry about that.
No.
So how can that be? It's supposed to be open. I'm sorry for that. Well, then would you talk to us and say what's on your mind, or?
No, that's only a suggestion that you might be open the chat.
Okay, that is my fault, but I don't know how to solve it.
Okay.
Well, now it should be open now, I hope. Well, gentlemen, if there is nothing that you wish to share with us now, as I said, you're either very satisfied or very frustrated. I hope it's the first alternative. If you choose to do so, then contact us by mail or call us. Well, okay then, gentlemen, then we've already reached the end. Well, thank you for joining us. And if you are interested in the presentation or the video, please send us an email and we'll be happy to send it to you. Then thank you for your time and, well, good night.